It's Nick here for Into Boxing, and I'm delighted to be joined by Diaz. First of all, how are you?
I am good, thank you. I'm happy to be here in England. You know, being part of this great card. It's going to be a great night of boxing here in London. So I'm very happy and I'm honored to be part of it.
I heard yesterday you arrived on Saturday. Have you acclimatised to the UK time and the British weather?
Well, it's we're still struggling on it. We're still working on it. We've been here since Saturday. It's a little hard, but you know, we adapt after a couple of days.
Obviously, we've got the rematch this Saturday night between your man Israil Madrimov and Soro. For those people who didn't see the first fight, can you just talk us through what happened towards the end and obviously why we're here now with the rematch?
Well, the last fight was in Uzbekistan, Israel's hometown. It was a great fight from the beginning. Michel Soro came to fight. Obviously, a great tough fighter in the division, and Israel is one of the most exciting fighters of the division as well. The fight was going well. It was a back and forth fight, a lot of action, and it was a small arena, and the people were really excited about the fight. Excuse me. So, what happened that night? It was a great fight. Israel started dominating. You know, I think in the last couple of rounds, the fight was close, but I think Israel was winning the fight in a way. But in that round, the bell rings and nobody hears the bell. So Israel hurt Soro, and the referee steps in and stops the fight. But unfortunately, it was after the bell had rung. So due to that, obviously, you know, they brought us back to a rematch. But honestly, on this one, I know it's going to be a great fight from the beginning, but now that we know who Soro is, his style, and what he brings to the table, I think this time is going to be more decisive. Israel is in great shape. He already felt Soro's power, and we prepared really well for it. So hopefully it's a great fight, but I'm pretty sure that Israel now is going to be dominant from the beginning.
Obviously, as you say, it's going to be a massive fight. It's going to be a great fight. Speaking to Eddie Hearn yesterday, and he was really talking up. He's really excited for it. How do you see the fight playing out ultimately in the end? Is it going to be all the way to the judges again, or is it going to be sort of a knockout?
Based on the first one, I can tell you this: this fight is not going to go the distance. Israel already, you know, found the key to Soro, and as well as us, you know, on the plan of attack. You know, obviously our plan is to stop Soro, knock him out early, and if the plan works as we worked, the fight should not go 8 rounds.
Obviously, yourself and Israel will never obviously overlook an opponent, but God willing, Saturday night he comes through, he's successful. What's the future hold for Israel? What does he want to do sort of in the next 12 months?
Well, Israel is like every fighter that has a strong mentality. What he wants to do is become a world champion. There's already talks about him after this fight. He's a mandatory for Charlo, and that would be a great fight for him, a great fight for the sport, stylistically. But I think that Israil Madrimov he's got some goals, and that's to become a world champion, hopefully before the end of next year.
Super. If we can just talk about, on the other fighters, Dmitry Bivol, talk about the Canelo fight. Massive win for Dmitry. Just talk us through the fight, and also, how is Dmitry after the fight?
That was a great fight. Obviously, history was made that night. Dmitry came to India, and we became part of his team. Obviously, he has his trainer, he has his team, but being part of the same management that all my Uzbek fighters have, Vadim Kornilov, he also included me and my brother into the team, so that we can have a different perspective, you know, the views, what Bivol needs to do, what Canelo has. So we became part of the team, you know, giving a little bit of tips here and there that helped in that fight, you know. So after the fight with Bivol and Canelo, it was a great moment, obviously, because nobody expected Bivol to win that fight when the team did. Through the whole camp, you know, watching Bivol train, watching his motivation, watching his determination, and he believed in himself from the beginning. So due to that, we knew he was going to win. The problem was walking out with a win that night, you know, because through the whole camp, we spoke about it and said, you know what, Dmitry is going to win the fight. He's not going to knock out Canelo. He's not going to knock him out. But at the end of the fight, the judges, are they going to give us the fight or not? But I was going for the draw. I was always betting on the draw. Bivol winning, but not getting a decision, but the judges giving him a draw. Well, thank God they gave Dmitry the win, and that made it more exciting because when I saw the fight again, I thought Canelo won maybe 3, maybe 4 rounds max, and you know, he won pretty clear.
Obviously, Canelo has taken the Triple G trilogy fight. So what's next for Dmitry Bivol?
Well, we're waiting, you know, see what Vadim says. I know they're talking about a Soro Ramirez fight, and other than that, we're just gonna have to wait, see what happens. Because at the end of the day, Canelo is still the king of the division, and without him making a move, nobody else can make a move. You know, so now that Canelo's fighting Triple G, we're gonna see what's gonna happen with Bivol. Bivol maybe will fight Soro Ramirez. Better be. We don't know yet. There's nothing in the works. Right now, Bivol is enjoying his family, enjoying his time off until further notice.
Can we get your thoughts on the Canelo Triple G trilogy fight? What do you expect to happen? Who do you expect to win?
Well, you know, a lot of people thought that Canelo lost the first one, you know, and some people thought that, you know, he lost the second one, and they're not giving Canelo a fair share in some ways. There were 2 great fights that people will always talk about. The only difference now is that Triple G has a loss already in his record, and he hasn't looked too good in his last fights. Obviously, age is a factor, and by Canelo choosing Triple G at this time, it's the perfect time. After 4 years, obviously he aged, and Canelo's still in his prime. I think Canelo should win, no problem. And if I'm not mistaken, my prediction, Canelo will stop Triple G by the 10th round.
And finally, from myself, obviously another big fight that was announced just recently, Anthony Joshua, Oleksandr Usyk, the rematch. In your opinion, obviously AJ's got Robert Garcia in his corner now. What does AJ have to do differently in the rematch to win it?
Honestly, I've always said it. I've watched Anthony Joshua fight many times. When he fought Andy Ruiz the first time, I understand that fighters step up to the opposition, right? Stepping in the ring against an Andy Ruiz for the first time, a late replacement, is like, okay, you know, the motivation wasn't there. He took him lightly, he got hurt. On the second one, obviously he did a great boxing fight. He boxed, you know, put on some good boxing ability, some skills. Coming back to Usyk, I noticed that mentally he doesn't have the confidence anymore, you know, because he gets hit and he gets hurt. But he's a big boy. He's a heavy hitter. What he needs to do, if he wants to beat Usyk, he needs to go get him. He needs to grab his balls and go over there. Honestly, I'm speaking from the heart. I like Joshua. If he wants to win this fight, he has to lose the respect, have no respect for Usyk, and go get him. Because if he tries to box around and wait and give him distance and time, Usyk will win again. He needs to grab his balls and go get him. He can do it. He has the power, he has the tools. Like us Mexicans say, grab your balls and go get them and execute them.
Super well, Joel Diaz. Thank you very much for giving Into Boxing some of your time, and we wish yourself and Israil all the very best Saturday night.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here in London.